Hello, future rich friends. Welcome back to another Millennial in Debt video. That is what I have decided to call y'all, because everybody got a shtick. Everybody has like a name for their followers and things like that. And y'all are my future rich friends because that is the point of being here, right? With me rocking as a subscriber. We're building generational wealth and we are gaining financial freedom. So y'all are my future rich friends. That's what's up. I'm excited. Don't forget about me when you get rich, right? So today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons, or should I say the do's and don'ts of purchasing your first car or any car at any point in life. And this particular topic came from one of my former students, Lucy Alley, who hit me up in my DMs, which you can always do if you're following on Insta. Don't forget to, hit that button. All right. And she asked me specific questions because she is about to start on a journey of purchasing her first car. And I thought, why not? Since my students past, present, and future are essentially my adopted kids or my adopted siblings whom I love so much. So I, of course, absolutely always want to do everything to help them. So I'm going to reference a lot of the things that she asked me specifically because this is for her. And I'm going to also just talk about things in general that I've experienced in my car purchasing experiences and just general rules of thumb of things you should know. So what Lucy Alley asked specifically, and I'll put her DM here because she's amazing. She asked if I can do a do and don't on buying your car. And she's asking how important is mileage? Should she lease? How much of a down payment should be put down? What's a good credit score to have? What's a car that has good features but also longevity? Best brand? What year model? Best to purchase? And that's pretty much the brink gist. Oh, my vocabulary is failing me. But that is the gist of her questions. And these are all fantastic, amazing questions that you definitely want to be asking when you're thinking about purchasing your first car or your 10th car, because they're really crucial to making sure not only that you get a really good deal, but also that you get a really good car, right? You don't want to get a lemon. So I'm going to just start off with her first question on should she lease? And that's going to be something that, it'll be the first do/don't. I don't even know how I'm gonna edit this, but y'all gonna get a good video, I promise. And I don't particularly like leases. And the reason that I don't like leasing a car is because I hate bills. And when you lease, especially if you want to lease long term or you just want to continue leasing, you will always have a car payment, right? So when you lease for a year, you lease for 2 years, you return the car, you get a new car, and you keep paying that payment. Now, a lot of people that are really, really, really close to me, close to my heart, they have chosen to lease their cars and they're doing just fine and, living life and nothing bad financially has happened to them. I just personally do not like the fact that I would consistently have a car payment, especially on a depreciating asset. And when I was first purchasing my first car, the man at the dealership told me that if I'm not going to pay off my car in 2 years anyway, that I might as well get a lease. So showed him, I financed my car, paid it off in 2 years, even though I had a 5-year loan promissory time period, paid it off in 2 years and haven't looked back since. So I have not had a car payment since 2015. And I've had my car since 2013. Same thing when I bought my first car back in 2009, I paid it off in 2 years. That was when he said that. Paid it off in 2 years. So 2011, I no longer had a car payment until I had to get a new car in 2013. So I am not a fan of leasing, but there are pros to leasing. Obviously, it's less responsibility on you for maintenance of the car. You bring it into the dealer to get oil changes. If things happen, they take it, they fix it, and it really doesn't become a financial detriment or burden to you. And you do get like a new car every 2 years. So that's your thing. That's exciting. That's something you want to get into. That particularly doesn't really have anything to do with my interests. The first thing that you want to do, which is a definite do when purchasing a car, is do your research. And I know that's like in everything, money, everything is do your research. And there's a reason for that. That is because if you do not know the inner workings of the dealership or what they're expecting from you or what your payment's going to be like or what interest is going to be like, you're going to be in for a surprise. And I know when I was purchasing my first car and my second car, I wanted it really bad. And I didn't want to go home without that car. So if you are also in that same predicament and you're like, I really want this car, then you need to do your due diligence and do the research so that when you go into the dealer, you know exactly what to expect and you walk out with your car. So if you're not sitting down and looking up all these different aspects of purchasing the car, you're going to be in for some wicked surprises that you're not going to enjoy. Trust me. It's not fun. The second don't, or I guess it's a do, is to go into a dealership if you're choosing that particular path and go in with your own finance offer. And the reason I say this, and they're going to be annoyed and aggy with you because they get, money from financing through the banks that work with them. They make a profit. I don't care about dealerships making a profit, right? I care about getting a good deal and a good car. So when I went to purchase both my first and second car, I went in having the money financed from a credit union because they were offering a really good interest rate. I didn't like the interest rates that were being offered from other banks because, again, I did my research. And so when I went in there and they're like, oh, this car is going to cost you X amount of money. You're putting this amount down. This is going to be your balance of finance. I was like, cool. Here's a check. I've already financed from the credit union, right? And they hate that. And that usually will make the price of the car go up because I learned the hard way that the sticker price that you see, first of all, doesn't include taxes and registration and title and all these other things. It also doesn't include hurting their ego. So when you don't finance through the car dealership, you're going to pay a much higher price, right? So my car was initially $11,000, like $11,995, I think was the sticker price. And because I didn't finance through them, I ended up paying $17,000. That is something I knew would happen. There are dealerships that offer same price for cash and financing very rarely, and it's usually not going to be the high-end dealerships. It's going to be like the ones that you find like around the way in your block. It's also not going to be the certified pre-owned dealership. So that's just something you want to keep in mind when you're going out into the dealership world. It's shady out there. Another thing that you really, really want to do when you are looking to purchase is to reach out to insurance companies. And that means that you have some sort of idea about the type of car you're getting or the year of the car you're getting, because the insurance company is going to want all that information in order to give you a price or an estimate. And when you go to the dealership, you're not leaving with that car unless it's insured. So you want to do your due diligence to check, okay, how much is Geico going to charge me? How much is Allstate going to charge me? How much is State Farm going to charge me? Which one am I going to choose? What's my monthly payment going to be before you go to the dealership? Because I remember when I went to that dealership and they were like, is your car insured? The car that you want to drive off the lot today? And I was like, no. And I had to do a mad rush Google search and all these types of things to get the car insured last minute. And I wasn't able to seal the best deal. Granted, I did change my insurance a couple of months later, but had I done the right research and had I set up my insurance before then, it would have went more my way than the dealer's way. And we don't want it to go the dealer's way, ever. This is just a tip for when you're going to the dealership. Like I mentioned, when you're buying cash, dealerships aren't making money on you. They're not making money off that sale because the bulk of their revenue comes from financing through the banks that work with you. So if you really want to get the best deal or see your best options, when you go in there, let them talk your ear off, and don't tell them that you've already come in with your finance option or you've already come in with cash. Let them give you the deal, and you can say, I haven't decided whether I want to finance through you, or I haven't really decided on the financing option that I want to take. Never go in there saying, I'm paying cash, I came with my own finance option. Yes, you can have it, and it's totally a good idea. Just don't tell them. Let the dealer, dig himself into his own hole, and then you come out swinging right at the end before the ink dries on the contract. And that's a tip that, for everything pretty much. Bait and switch. The next do is you absolutely need to know your budget and your credit score. So these are two numbers that you need to keep at the forefront of your car search, at the forefront of your research, because like I said, the sticker price that you see on the car is not going to be the total that you pay. It's the same thing when purchasing a home, right? The amount that you see and the amount that you get on your mortgage is not the end all be all. There are so many other factors, financial factors, that come to play when you're buying a car or a house, but we're focusing on car right now. Okay, so know your credit score. Don't let them run your credit every dealership you go to, because that's tanking your credit score. And two, you want them to offer the best deal, and you want to go in there like you know it all, right? Because in this case, you will know a lot. You might not know it all, but you will know a lot. So you want to know, okay, I have a 700 credit score. It is likely I'm going to get this interest rate. It is likely I'm going to get this, get that, versus they run it, right? And they're like, oh, you have a 700 credit score. You're not eligible for this. You can get that. You need to tell them what you want, because it's your money at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what they, can offer you if you can't pay it, or if you can't afford it, or if it doesn't meet the requirements with your credit score and your money. It's not a car for you. It's not a deal that you need to make. So when you know your credit score and you know your hard limit, is what I like to call my hard limit budget. I can afford this amount a month total, right? Which is why I say, okay, I can afford, let's say $500 for this car. That includes the insurance and the monthly payment. Don't let them say, oh, if your budget's $500, this is only going to cost you $450 a month. It's perfect. And then it's like, where are you going to find $50 a month insurance? Not in New York, not in LA, not in Miami, not in Chicago. I mean, if you live in I don't know. I'm afraid to say a smaller state, because I said South Dakota or Nebraska in a video, and so many people who watch me from there, who I didn't even know, were just like, I live there. So hello, all my Middle America followers. I love y'all. If you live in a not city type area, your insurance is going to be lower. But I wouldn't bank on it. You want to make sure you give yourself wiggle room and you understand what your hard number is, and try to stay far away from it. If my hard limit is 500, I'm going to try to go for 300, 250. And if it keeps getting higher, okay, I have some wiggle room, but I don't want to be at 499, right? I don't want to be up against my hard limit. So that's something you definitely want to keep in mind. The next thing that you want to do when purchasing a car is to ask a lot of questions. So you've done your research, you know your numbers, but dealers, they're not scammy. Some of them are, but they're trying to make money. They're trying to make a profit off of you. So they're going to try to do things as quick as possible, and it might be a little confusing, and all the numbers and terminology you might not be familiar with, right? Especially if this is your first time. You want to make sure you're asking questions, or you're asking them to break it down in a way that you can understand, right? So don't tell me I'm going to pay $200 a month. How long? Is this a 72-month loan? Is this a 60-month loan? What is the amount of money I'm going to be paying? So ask as many questions. And another thing, do not just go to one dealer. Even if you find a fantastic deal, they could wait. You could tell them to hold it, and I know you're like, oh my God, my dream car is going to be sold. You'll find another dream car. Trust me. Or you'll have another dream, right? So don't just shop at one dealer, and don't just let them rush you through the process. Ask questions. You're trying to learn. You're trying to make sure that you're getting a really great deal. You don't want to rush the process, right? And you don't want to just go to one store, right? One dealer. So make sure you go to a few dealers and you ask as many questions as possible. We got two more things, guys. All right. So the next thing is you absolutely want to test drive the car. Is it the car for you, right? Does it feel right? Do not let them say, oh, you can take the car home. I'm not responsible for this vehicle until I've signed the papers for it. Test drive it at the dealer, get a feel for it, and do not, for the love of God, do not be pressured to get all these other add-ons, right? You test drove it, you loved it, you're ready, you're signing. Don't let them say, you can get this warranty, you can get this, and you can get that. Don't be pressured, right? Because the truth of the matter is, you don't have to say yes in that moment. You usually have a time, like a 30-day time frame. You could think about it. And if you say, you know what, this actually is beneficial for me, I am going to need it, it's worth the cost, go for it. If not, you can take the 30 days to think and be like, nah, no thanks. You're not going to pressure me into paying extra money for something that I genuinely really don't need and will never use. And the last tip that I have for you when buying a car, the last do, is be prepared to walk away. And I say that because when I was purchasing my second car, I wasn't prepared to walk away, and I rushed into it because I'm like, I need a car, I want a car, I'm taking this car, that's it. If you're not getting the things you need, if you're not reaching the numbers and the budget and things aren't working for you and your credit score isn't, where it needs to be to get the deal you want, walk away. You can absolutely walk away. You don't owe these dealers anything. They can court you for as long as they want, and if you get to the very end and you're just like, this isn't for me, I'm not going to do it, that's fine. Do not be forced into buying a car, especially not by a dealer, if you're not ready, if your finances aren't ready, if your credit score isn't ready. Making a car purchase is a really big financial decision, and you want to go into it with a clear head and as much knowledge as possible. So, now that we've said all of that, this is such a long video. I try not to do such long videos. I want to let you know that I have a credit series coming out every Friday. You will get more info on credit. Tag your other friends that you want them to be my next rich friends. Subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.